We just hit enter and we get 2 AI with custom loadouts. Today I'm going to show you how you can have AI under your command with a custom loadout you set up for them in the Eden editor. Spawn AI with a custom loadout that will join your group. Before we begin, on the Arma 3 launcher, go to the Parameters tab and make sure that you have No Logs box unchecked, just like this. If you can't find the No Logs parameter, it's under the All Parameters tab. You scroll down under the Advanced and you'll see No Logs here. Make sure this box is unchecked. We're going to start off by building a mission, and we're going to go to Markers at the top and we're going to zoom in. And then we're going to choose a flag marker and we're going to place that right about here. We're going to go to the map here and we're going to just move it here. We're going to edit the marker and give it a variable name of spawn 1. Next, we're going to choose triggers and choose a trigger without a size. We're going to place that right here. We're going to edit the trigger, set it to repeatable, and then in the on activation box, we're going to set this to radio alpha, which will make it a radio trigger. Then in the text box, we're going to put spawn space AI and just hit OK. That's it. From there, we're going to go to F1 objects and then to props and then to the search box, and we're going to type in notice, and we're going to choose the notice board and we're going to place that guy right here. And we're just going to make it face this direction. Alright, so that's our mission at the moment. We're going to save this. And I'm going to put this under Tanoa. Save underscore AI underscore loadout. Next, let's go to the scenario tab at the top and then down to open scenario folder. Alright, here we are in the mission folder, and I'm going to bring up a Readme. This is a Readme I wrote up for you guys, and this goes through the entire process step by step. Readme and myself put this together. I did the Readme. He helped me with some code. You gotta give him some credits too. I will zip up this Readme and link it for download in the description of the video. That way you guys can have it for yourself, but you'll have this video as a reference. The following is a step-by-step instruction on how to set the units you want to spawn with a custom loadout you chose for them in the Eden editor. So here is general notes. You don't really have to pay attention to that, but we're going to start right here. Setting up multiple units to save loadouts for. Just one note, and I'm sure you guys may have already done this, and we just did this at the beginning of the video, is be sure to have full logs set in the Arma 3 launcher parameters before starting the game. Let's start with step 1, and step 1 is to place units. Place units in the editor, only those units you want to save custom loadouts for. Create their loadouts through the arsenal and save your mission. I'm going to place 2 units that I want to have custom loadouts for. So I'm going to CTRG, and then I'm going to go to Men Pacific, and then I'm going to choose a scout, and I'm going to place him right here, face him this direction, and then I'm going to choose a marksman and place him right here and face him in this direction. Now their orientation doesn't affect anything, but basically what you're going to do is when you place the units that you want, this is excluding the player, even though this one's set as player. These are going to be AI that are going to spawn. So what you're going to do is you're going to right click each one of them and then go down to where it says edit loadout. And basically you're just going to give them a loadout that you want them to have. Now I already have a loadout set up for these guys. So this particular one I have AI CTRG Scout Loadout. And that just basically updates their gun, gives them some silencers, a backpack, and some more ammo and some other things. Once you have your loadout, just hit OK. And your AI dude will have whatever loadout you set for them. This guy will do the same thing. I'm going to right click him, go to edit loadout. And I have a loadout set for him, AI CTRG Sniper Loadout. And this guy's kind of the same thing. I gave him a silencer, a different scope, a backpack, and some ammo and some other things. And that's it. So you can see what these guys will have. Let's save our mission. And let's go back to the README. Step 2 is Debug Console. In Eden, open the Debug Console and execute this code. We're going to copy this code and press Control C. When you execute this code in the console, it will say this. After executing the code, local exec, in the Debug Console, you'll get something like this in your RPT. This is why we wanted full logs, because without full logs, you wouldn't get this. The above is an example of 2 unit loadouts. For the Debug Console, what you're going to do is you're going to go to Tools at the top here, click that, and at the very top it'll say Debug Console. Click that, and you're going to get this dialog box that comes up. We copied a code in the Notepad document, and what you're going to do is you're going to press Control V, and you're going to get the same code that we copied. And what you're going to do from there is you're going to click on this button here. It says local exec. Just click that. Nothing's going to happen here, and then just hit cancel. From there, you're going to go to the scenario tab at the top, and then down to where it says open log folder. This will open the folder where the RPT is located. Opening the log folder, you should get a folder like this. It will say Arma 3 at the top, and then you'll see a bunch of files, and then you'll see a Notepad document here that says Arma 3 times 64, which is your 64-bit operating system for Arma 3 set in the launcher. Then you'll have today's date, and then you'll have the time, and then it'll end with .rpt. Alright, so you just open this up, and what you're going to get is a lot of code. Let's take a look at what the next step is. So step 3 is copy and paste. Copy the code from the RPT, then paste it into an SQF file. This can be a new script with a custom name or an init.sqf. Alright, let's do that a second. Let's start up a Notepad document, and we don't have to name it or anything. What you're going to do is copy all of this, or you can go to edit and select all, and right click and copy, or press Control C. Then you're going to go into new Notepad document. I'm using Notepad++. Give it a space and press Control V, which will paste the code. Then we can close the RPT and close this folder as we don't need it anymore. So here we are with this code, and let's go to the next step. So we pasted the code in step 3. Now we're going to step 4, code cleanup. Using either Notepad or Notepad++, clean up the code so that it will be ready to use inside an SQF. You'll need to remove the timestamps and quotation marks at the end of each line. So let's do that first. So what it's referring to timestamps, to separate each soldier, what you're going to do is you're going to go to the timestamp. So this is the timestamp, and this is a timestamp. So put your mouse cursor in front of the timestamp and just hit enter, and it'll create a space. So this separates each unit. So this is one soldier, this is the other soldier. What we need to do here is remove the timestamps from the code and the quotes from before and after. So you see the timestamp here, just remove it. You see the quote here in the front of the bracket, you got to remove it. The quote right here, you have to remove, and then we go to the next one. This is the next soldier. We have to remove the timestamp here, remove the quote here, and remove the quote at the end. Let's go back to the Readme. We remove the timestamps and quotation marks from each line, and then the next thing we have to do for the code for cleanup is remove the double quotes from the code. What that's referring to is, notice that there are double quotes here, and double quotes here, and double quotes here, and double quotes here, and throughout the code. So you have to remove those. So how do we remove those? Let's refer to the Readme. If using Notepad++, like I am, press Control H, setting the search mode to normal, and then using the replace all to change double quotes to single quotes. So I'm in Notepad++. For Notepad++, you hold down Control, and then press H. That will bring up a box that says replace, and then you'll have find what and replace with what. So what you're going to do is find what, and you're going to put 2 double quotes in there, and then replace with what, you're going to put a quote in there. And make sure the search mode is normal. By default, it should be on normal. I'm going to go down to where it says replace all and click this. You'll see it execute. And just close this. That's all you need to do. And you'll notice if you look at the code that all the double quotes are removed. Next, let's go back to the README, and that cleans up the code. All done there. Step 5 is the array. After the code is cleaned up, then paste the fixed code into an array in the SQF file like this. So what you need to do here, this is an example array of kind of like what we have already, except for 2 units. Copy this, press Ctrl C, go back to your code, and let's just give it a little bit more space. And at the top, you're going to press Ctrl V. So you're going to have this and a bracket, put a comma at the end of each soldier's. So remember, this is one array with subarrays of one soldier. Make sure that you put a comma at the end of that array. So we're going to put a bracket right here, bracket, and then a semicolon. So this array is of 2 elements, looks like more because the lines are very long, each including the unit type as the first element and a subarray of loadout classes as the second element. Basically doing is creating a database that determines what type of unit should get what loadout. Step 6 is after completing the My Loadouts array above in step 5, then put the code into an init.sqf. So let's go back to our script and let's go to save. You're going to set the save as type. Set it on all files, and then in the file name you're going to put init.sqf, and what we're going to do is locate our mission folder. So don't save it because this script needs to go in your mission folder. So for me it's going to be in missions, and then we're on Tanoa, and we're in this mission here. We're just going to save it. So if you bring up your mission, you're going to see that there's an init.sqf in your mission folder, just like that. Now, if you already have an init.sqf, then all you need to do is just copy this into your init.sqf. So if I open this, here is my loadouts array. So there's nothing more you have to do for this. That's all done. Step 7 is spawning AI code. The following is 3 codes that will spawn, apply the loadouts, and make the AI join the player's group. Let's take a look at these 3 codes. So here you have one code. This will spawn the AI that you want on a marker named spawn1. This code sets the loadout for the AI that is going to spawn, and as you notice here, it says My Loadouts Array, hence the name of the code, My Loadouts Array. So basically it's loading this. It's using this as a database to load. Then this last code here, basically this takes this unit, this squad, and spawns them with your loadout from your loadout array, and then these guys will join you. You look at this code here. We need to define a marker that's named spawn1, which we already did. What we need to do is set the class names for the AI that are to spawn and have the loadouts applied to them. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back in the mission and acquire class names to put the class names right here. If I put down a scout and I put down a marksman like I had before, you could see kind of what loadout they have, and they're missing all the stuff that I added to them. But what we need to do here is we need to acquire the class names for these 2 guys and add them to the spawn code. So what you're going to do is you're going to highlight both of them, right click one of them, and then you're going to go down to where it says log, and then log classes to clipboard. Click on that. When the menu disappears, you've logged class names. Alright, let's bring up the README, and basically what you're going to do is in between the codes here, you're going to press Ctrl V, and that's going to paste the code. In the code itself, you're going to have one class name, and they're going to be inside of quotes like that, separated by a comma, and here's the second class name, and that needs a quote at the end, just like that. So if you have more, let's say you had a third guy, if you had a third guy, you'd put a comma, a quote, the class name for it, and then an end quote like that. But if you don't, then this is what we have. So basically we're going to be spawning 2 guys. So the rest of this step is put the code above in a triggers init. You can use area trigger or a radio trigger to spawn the units or spawn units from a sign using the add action seen below. Let's test this first. We're going to copy this code right here and press Control C. We're going to go back to the mission and add it to the trigger. Let's remove these 2 guys, and I'm going to place a player as a team leader and place him right here and make him face this direction. Next, we're going to go to the trigger. We're going to edit the trigger, and in the on activation box, make sure the cursor is blinking. I'm going to press Control V, and basically that is going to paste the code that we set up. Alright, so let's save our mission and let's test it out. Alright, so we have a radio trigger, so let's hit 0 on our keyboard and then go down to where it says radio. We have spawn AI, just hit that. AI will spawn, and now we have 2 guys that we set up to spawn.
Halt.
So let's tell these guys.
2, move right.
Understood. Waiting.
And we will.
3, move right.
Copy that. Waiting.
Let's have them face the sun so we can kind of see.
Watch northeast.
Alright, so these guys, here's our sniper, and you can see the loadout that I have for him. And then this guy, same thing. And he's got a backpack too. Step 8. Setting up an add action to spawn AI from a sign. Now, this is optional. You don't have to do this. So, if you wanted to spawn the units from a sign, do the following. So I have kind of step-by-step for this. It goes through A to G. So what we do is set up a sign and place a marker where you want the AI to spawn in your mission. Now we already have this set. B, add the following code to the sign's init. Now this code right here is what's called an add action. This adds an action. This is the color of the words right here. It says spawn AI. So when you go to the sign, you're going to see this, spawn AI. You can change this to whatever you want. It could say spawn operators, spawn soldiers, or AI, or recruit AI, whatever you want. It doesn't matter. It's got to be in between these 2 triangles. Right here is actually another script that we're going to create, and I'm going to show you how to set that up. This here is the name of the marker that is already set in our mission. So remember, in your own mission, it doesn't have to be spawn 1. It could be whatever you want. Let's go to C, create a Notepad plus document, and put the code from step 7 in it. So let's copy this code. Press Control C. It's the same code that we put in the trigger. And let's start up a Notepad document. And let's go 1 line down, and let's paste the code. And let's go back to the Readme. And what does the rest of the Readme say? It says, put the code from step 7 in it. Then name the extension of the SQF. Let's name the script the name of the my loadouts array. Let's name it this. So press Control C, just copy that. And we're going to click on save here. Your mission should already be open in the address box to where you're going to save it to. So save as type. I always do this so I can see all the files, so I know where I'm at. Then in the file name box, you're going to press Control V, and that'll paste the code. You don't have to use this name. You could use whatever name, but the extension's got to be .sqf. Once you have that, just press save. And if you go to your mission folder, you should have an init.sqf and my loadouts array. Let's go back to the README. Let's go to D. In the add action code above where it says my loadouts array.sqf, put the name of your script in between the quotes. So what it's referring to in B here, this is the add action code. So I already defined the name of the script here. Let's go to E. In the add action code above where it says spawn 1, put the name of your marker you have in your mission. This will be where the AI will spawn at. So we already have that set up. Let's go to F. With the add action set up, you should have an init.sqf and with the my loadout array code in it from step 5 and a script with the code from step 7 in it. Let's take this code now, highlight it, Press Control C, and let's go back into the mission, and we're going to add that to the sign. Now we go up to the sign, edit the sign, and in the init box we're going to press Control V, and that will paste the code. And I just hit OK, and that sets up the code. Now we're not using a radio trigger for that, so we're going to delete the trigger, save our mission, and let's test it out. Instead of a radio trigger like we did before, where we go to 0, you'll see no radio that comes up. See, we can't go to the radio. So now we go to the sign. As you can see now, it says spawn AI, just like I defined, and we just hit enter, and we get 2 AI with custom loadouts.
2. Move back.
Wilco, ready.
3. Move right.
Copy that. Standing by.
Watch north.
Alright, so these are my AI. This is my scout with the attachments, custom loadout. This is my sniper with attachment and custom loadout. Alright, so one more thing I want to show you guys. Now you notice that the wording of spawn AI is yellow. I'm going to show you how to change that. Alright, back in the mission folder, let's bring up the Readme again. And we just did step 8, and we were at part F. Now G is if you wanted to change the color of the words on the sign, all you need to do is change the hex number. So what it's referring to is, here's the addaction code. This is the hex number that it's referring to. Now notice you have apostrophe here and apostrophe here. So this hex number is in between those apostrophes. So what you need to do is change that, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So there is a website you can go to, which is this. I'll link this in the description of the video, and you guys can go check it out and use it if you want. This is the RGB Color Codes Chart, and with this you could choose a color. It will give you the hex number here where it says FFF and number, or you could choose a code from the thing here, and that'll give you a hex number here. Or you could choose preset numbers here. So there's a lot to choose from, whole mess of them. Let's choose a color. Let's say we want to choose the color to red. So what you do here is you go to the hex code, which is this. We chose red, and then we just go here, we copy this, and we go back to the Readme, and right here all you have to do is just change this to the new code. You could re-put the code back into the sign like I'm going to do, or you could just change the number if you want. So let's go back into the mission and update the code. So go to the sign and basically just update this code with the new number and just hit OK. And let's save that and test it out. This sign should be red now. There you go. Awesome. Alright guys, that concludes the tutorial and the instructions for the AI with custom loadout that will join your group. Like I said, I will zip this Readme up and link it for download in the description of the video. And I will also link this website for the RGB Color Codes Chart, description of the video. And that way you guys can utilize it if you want. Alright, hope that helps you guys, and I will catch you guys on the next video.